Think the reason people are so drawn to our platform and can relate to my story, even if they haven't participated in sex work or they're not a young woman, is because it's a story about what it's like to survive in America with no guardrails. The police aren't coming to help us. Our government doesn't really have stable longevity programs that are going to help us, and we're really out here on our own. When the pandemic struck, I was out with my community getting testing out and eventually vaccine distribution, helping to distribute menstrual items, doing food distribution at a site. And I just looked at how long the line was, and it wrapped around the building and down the street. And I thought, they're not coming to help us. And so that was when I decided to run for office. Since being forthcoming on this race that I used to work as a stripper, people have been saying, why does that matter? And to me, I know that they are trying to be accepting of my past and saying that's irrelevant. You can still be a candidate. But it just shows how little they understand what it's like to live that life and how far sex workers, strippers, or people in any sort of stigmatized position, how marginalized they are and pushed into the shadows. We have a school to prison pipeline, and that puts young people who are policed in schools or don't foresee a bright future ahead of them or opportunity because of maybe the house that they're living in or the environment and neighborhood they're growing up in. They drop out of school and then they're targeted by police and put into the prison industrial complex, where they're then exploited for their labor. I grew up in the inner city of Rochester, and I was in a very poor neighborhood. It just really seemed wrong to me that depending on where you live in your zip code would affect the quality of schooling that you would get. And that kids up for failure. I believe that we need to take the funding of public education to the federal level, because that is how we can properly fund it and make sure that it is equitable across the country, regardless of zip code. Healthcare is a major part of our platform. So is the environment, so is education, so is mass incarceration, because everything is intersectional and they tie into each other. And if one thing is dragging a person down, it can drag down the whole community, the whole family, and it ties in. We are in the midst of a pandemic, and because of our government's corporate interests, they are looking the other way. They have supplied a vaccine, and outside of that, they're not taking any sort of responsibility for the protection and health of our community. That's not a government that's for the people. That's a government that's for the corporation. I think I'm already proving the haters and the doubters wrong. They didn't believe that we could build a platform. They didn't believe that we could get any sort of attention. They didn't believe that we could get donors. They didn't believe that I could and our campaign could be taken seriously. So we're already proving them wrong. The haters are going to hate, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing.